I was running in the park this morning in Battersea Park, which was very beautiful, very sunny, very summery, sunny Battersea Park morning. And I was running with my husband Anadi, and we were talking about the definition of power. And he was saying that the definition of power is being able to direct and influence others. And of course, if we're going from a personal perspective, if we are empowered and we are absolutely within our own centre, our own essence and our own power, then no one can direct and influence us unless we invite it. And in my role in people's lives, where they want guidance or mentoring or counselling, there is an exchange and they are inviting me to direct and influence. And so should we invite someone to direct and influence us, that is a completely different position and we're still in our own power. But ultimately, the more we are able to turn within and recognise who we truly are and be more able to still the mind and not have its relentless chatter ruling us, occupying us, the more we are in our own centre and we are able to know that feeling of ease and peace and joy, then we are empowered and we can direct and influence ourselves. We can direct the course of our life. We can empower ourselves. And I remember in the 80s, actually, Boy George, I always date myself, but I remember Boy George, the singer. And I remember reading an article, and he had been interviewed in a Sunday magazine, and he said that no one else can make us feel anything. And of course, that is the absolute truth. They can only make us feel something if we allow that. And therefore, really, the only person that we need to be concerned about is ourselves, not the other, because the other who has made us upset, angry, feel insignificant, that's only possible if we're handing our power over to them, if we are allowing them to direct and influence how we feel. And therefore, it is a 24/7 practice to come back into our centre. We can do that with the breath. If you breathe in deeply into the tummy, we come back into the body. Breathe out tension. And then there's a gap before we breathe in again. And in that space, we can know ourselves, the essence of ourselves. And the breath can anchor the mind. And that way, we're able to recognise if we're being pulled out of our centre by the actions of another, where we are giving our power away. We always just focus on ourselves, because if somebody does something and we feel upset, or we feel cross, or we feel hurt, then it's for us to clear it. And often if we look around, other people aren't reacting the same to the same action. Therefore, that can confirm for us it's us and not the other. Does that make sense? Because often if, say, there's 6 of us and that one person said something and we got hurt, but the other 5 didn't get hurt, that would be evidence that it's us and it's to do with us, and it's what's been hit is some place within us that is unresolved or hurt from our childhood wounding, or some place where we have cut off love to ourself. Now, of course, it could be that all 6 people got upset, which would indicate everybody had the availability. And also, as I always say, it doesn't mean that the person in front of us who's perhaps behaved in a certain way that has meant that we feel upset, that it doesn't mean that we condone their behavior, but ultimately the true power is to be able to clear the upset within us and to know that that's to do with us. That doesn't mean we wouldn't then ask for a behavior change or be able to have a conversation with the person or any of those things. But this is the purpose of this video. This is about us and knowing that we can empower ourselves, that anything anybody else does should never have the power to make us feel anything. We can feel things, and we can feel joyous about things, and we can feel any emotion, but it's to do with us. So it is important to remember how to clear if we do get triggered, if somebody does something and we feel angry, or we feel hurt, or we feel that we've been slighted. And to clear, we need to first of all recognize we felt something, and if we can, locate it in the body, because feelings are always in the body. We may not always be in touch with that, but they are in the body. So if we can feel a reaction now, wherever we feel the reaction, some people just feel it and it's happened so quickly that they're not aware. But if we're able to press pause when we're about to, act out of that reaction, if we're able to press pause on it, then we start to properly empower ourselves, because even if we're not in that moment exactly able to clear it from our system, if we don't act out of it, we don't reenact the whole cycle, and we are closer to a place of absolute centeredness, empowerment, and the ability to know who we are in any given moment. So just to recap, if we are in our own center and we're in our own power, then no one can direct or influence unless we give them permission. No one can tip us out of balance. No one can make us feel anything. If they do, then there's some work to be done. And to do the work, we need to press pause, make sure we don't act out of that emotion, because that just reenacts the cycle. And use the breath to come back into the center, and use the breath to clear the feeling without getting caught in a narrative about it being about the other. Because again, we disempower ourselves, we take ourselves out of the center when we make it about the other and not about us. We have the power. We should only worry about ourselves. We need to be 24/7 aware that we can be the master of our mind, the master of our body, and that we have the power within us to free ourselves from all of those reactivities and constraints, because we deem that something outside ourselves has taken our life this way and that, and taken our mood this way or that. We have the power within us. And always, always remember that. And it may take some work, but you have it within you to empower yourself, to be at ease, be joyous, and create the life that you truly, truly want to live.